What's up, Irish Nation? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com. Week 10 here at the Golden Dawn. Holy War Week, Cardinal Mooney, Ursuline, the best rivalry in Youngstown. No doubt the best rivalry in our area. Been a part of it for a lot of years. Coach's Corner with Coach Reardon. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here.
East High School.
Week 10.
Is that crazy? That's the first thing. I remember sitting.
Fastest 10 weeks of the year.
It was a Thursday night at Brookfield. I want to say it was 84, 85 degrees.
Yep.
That's a good football team, Brookfield, who continues. They're one of my teams that I tell everybody to keep an eye on when it gets to the playoffs from an offensive standpoint.
Good football team.
But it's hard to believe it's week 10.
Yep. Goes quick.
Do they go as the years go by? Do the games go faster, or is this the pace you're normally used to?
No, I feel like it goes faster.
I'm with you.
It's quick. So,
I look at computer rankings that I remember it was week 4. Now it's 10, and you see who's going to be a home game, who has a chance.
Yep.
But I go back to the East game. We talked off air. I give that football team a lot of credit that came and competed.
Yep.
They have some good players on that team, no question. But I'm going to go to us. I love some of the things that I saw of this football team. 3 defensive touchdowns in a row. I talked with you last week. This defense continues to get better, but also as they get better, they make big plays. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun. You saw some guys make some plays that, Jai Keese had a pick 6.
How fast is he? He looked like he got
fast,
shut out of it.
Yeah, he's fast. He's a young guy. He's a sophomore, playing a little bit more and more every week, and Jack Keese is going to be a good football player, and he's still learning where he fits in the system on both sides of the ball and everything, but he's shown flashes this year being a really good football player. Casey Luger's got a touchdown, Landon Charles did, and then a guy who got a lot of playing time on defense this week due to an injury was AJ Snyder, young guy, freshman.
I called his name an awful lot Friday night.
Really played well.
Looks very talented. Talk about his progress to do what he's doing in week 9.
Yeah, so he's he's a guy who's played a little bit throughout the year, played a little special teams, got his feet wet. Past couple weeks, he's gotten a little more playing time on the defensive side of the ball, and got an extensive amount the other night. But going to be, again, a young guy, going to be a really good football player, and showed some flashes the other night.
This is what I love talking with you about. You talk every week. I talk with you. One of the things that you take pride in the staff is the reps that kids get during the week. That has to be so exciting for you guys. And that's what I love about people say a blowout. Those aren't fun. I look at your staff when the game got out of hand. Your coaching staff really gets after it with these young group guys where they're gaining varsity game experience. That has to be huge for this football program.
Yeah, and I think we talked about last week or the week before. We set a significant amount of time aside each week where we do JV freshman scrimmage, and we had about 20 minutes of it today. We'll do another 15 or 20 tomorrow, and it's every Tuesday or Wednesday we do it, and it's at the very beginning of practice. It's not something we tuck away at the end or after special teams or whatever, but it's literally right at the very beginning of practice. Guys are fresh, varsity coaches coaching the guys, and we've seen guys grow up over particularly the second half of the season as a result of those reps that they're getting. And I mean, it's competitive reps. It's, it's been really good for us. So then you fast forward to the past 2 Fridays in a row where those guys are able to get in there. It's gratifying to see as a head coach.
And it probably, I see it just calling the games. You have to see it on film. Guys getting better every week because they're becoming a more knowledgeable with the Ursuline schemes, the Ursuline system. So shout out to you for you guys for that. Coach Reardon, Holy War Week, Cardinal Mooney, we'll have it for you on YSNLive.com. Cardinal Mooney, you've been a part of this forever. I tell everybody, you know this, throw out the records. They don't mean a thing. It's going to be 2 football teams that, in my opinion, in each region can do some damage. What's this week mean for you as a coach as you get a little older and watched your son go through this and you're part of it? What's Mooney Week mean to Coach Reardon?
So it's a fun week, first of all. And whenever you're playing a rivalry game, I mean, it means a little bit more for the kids. I think it's a special rivalry locally, just the nature of the two
Sure.
schools. So, Ursuline was around, a couple generations longer than Mooney's been
Right.
around, but when Mooney was opened, a lot of Ursuline families ended up, living on that side of town,
Sure.
and their kids ended up going there. So there's a lot of families that have one foot in each door, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And so with that, it's unique in that way. Most of our kids know most of
Sure.
their kids. They went to grade school together and so on. So there's always that added incentive because it's bragging rights because all those guys or most of those guys. And um, then you add the fact that two very storied football programs that have won a lot of football games at a very, very high level, state championship teams, runner-up teams, regional, state semifinalists, whatever. Um, so historically, it's usually two really good football teams playing, and school communities where football's important, and so that just adds to it. And this year they are so improved from where they were at the beginning of the season. I mean, they're playing with confidence, and you can see it. You can see their kids playing with more confidence on film, and had a chance to see them live the other day against Steubenville, and really that was a neck and neck ball game for a long, long time. Right at the very end of the first half, Steubenville was able to get up by 2 scores, but it was a back and forth ball game, and you saw him come back from a deficit a couple weeks ago against Warren Harding, and Harding's record isn't.
Yeah, that's another one we talked about. It's one of the best.
It's an anomaly.
Teams in the state of Ohio.
They're a really good football team, talented football team, and for whatever reason, that they haven't been able to pull it out at the end of games. But you saw Mooney really grow up in that game, I think. And again, you mentioned Brookfield. We saw Mooney scrimmage versus Brookfield in August. Had that video. It's night and day. It's night and day. So, their coaches have done a great job, put them in a position to win football games. They've gotten better and better as the year has gone on. It's a rivalry game. It's all those things. I mean, we definitely understand the challenge ahead of us.
Yeah, it'll be a big challenge ahead. We'll have it for you Friday night. Coach, one of the things that I love about this rivalry is the passion that both schools bring all week and when they get to the stadium. But the thing that I go back at, there are so many good players that have played in this rivalry for the last 10 years. And it's kind of switched a little bit. When you first came back, Mooney kind of had the advantage. Now it's swung a little bit. From a game standpoint, their quarterback, outstanding. He does a lot of things well.
Really good football
What do
player.
you see that has helped this football team improve the most?
Yeah, so I think it's hard to play good football if your quarterback isn't playing well, and they have a good quarterback, and that gives them a chance. And you see him; he's a very good passer, and he has very good running ability if you don't contain him in the pocket. So that's something that definitely has our attention. He does a good job throwing the ball around to some different guys, but it seems like Del Signor is his favorite target, and they do a good job with him. They move him around. He playing receiver one play, tight end another play, and plays defense and so on. So those two guys really
make them go.
Yeah, they really make them go, in my opinion. And again, you go back, they're improved across the board.
Right. Defensively, they've improved a lot.
Yeah, just across the board. But, it starts with the quarterback.
Yeah. With Coach Reardon, Holy War week, still midweek yet, a lot of practice to go, a lot of work. I love asking you this every week. Your keys, when you look at that, there's going to be so many momentum swings both ways. That's one of the beauties of this rivalry. But when you sit down and you've had a chance to look at it, what's some of the things that are key for your football team to defeat Cardinal Mooney Friday night?
So we say it every week. We have to win the battle up front, and our offensive line and defensive lines are the strength of our football team, and those guys have to play well to give us a chance to win in any football game. And I think it's even more magnified in a rivalry game. we always talk about running the football, defending the run, taking care of the football, and creating takeaways. And but it starts up front in those keys. And again, I think all that stuff, it's more important in a rivalry game. I mean, if you can do those things, you have a chance to be in good position in the fourth quarter. The other big thing that can sway a game one way or the other is our impact plays. Big plays on either side of the ball. So, got to minimize those, take care of the football. And I think one thing that I learned early on in this rivalry, and if you go back to my first 4 years as Urson's head football coach from 2004, when I first got hired, it was probably the best run in the history of Cardinal Mooney football is when I get inserted into it. So you're talking about, I think they won 4 out of 6 years. They won the title and they were runner up another time or something like that. I mean, my numbers might be a little bit off.
To your way with the run that you had.
But I mean, they were 04, 5, 6, 7, 09. We both were state champions. I mean, they were really freaking good during that time. And it's like, oh, this new head coach has to come in and try to somehow swing it the other way. But, I think back then, I think I put too much pressure on myself to try to figure out a way how to win
the rivalry
instead of just focusing on doing the things we do really well. And I think as I got more mature as a head coach, I started to realize you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to come up with a new scheme. And, you have to do what you do and you have to do it better than they do what they do. And, I think when I started to realize that lesson was when, things started to shift a little bit. So,
well, I love that answer, Coach Reardon. Thanks again for coming on a busy week for the Irish. We'll have the game for you, YSN Live Friday night. DJ Yoakley will be on the call. Holy War, there's no better rivalry than Cardinal Mooney and Urson. Coach, best of luck Friday night. We'll talk again next week.
Sounds great. Thanks.